Right, here I am, independent photojournalist, showing you the mile that way. How long you been in traffic?
Oh, about 8 hours. Yeah, 7.5, 8 hours.
You guys drove here from Colorado and then got stuck in this bumper to bumper.
We've gone 1,253 miles.
Wow. And
we went, but we got into this at 6 o'clock, and it's now 2 o'clock, so that's 8 hours.
That we've been in. We've gone about 7 miles in about 8 hours.
Where did you come from?
Indiana.
Indiana? How many cars would you say are actually out here?
I would hate to venture a guess because I look like an idiot. But tens of thousands.
Here we are driving in the breakdown lane. If we were back 15 miles, we'd arrive at Bonnorroo in approximately 15 hours. What do you think about the fact that we're driving in the breakdown lane right now?
We've done it in and out.
How are you, sir? Very good.
And I had no idea getting in would be as bad as being there, but I'm sure it'll be fun.
I think we're all really psyched that everyone had a lot of patience, you know, to get into the venue, and really, once they got here, we're really ready to have a good time.
Believed to be the North Mississippi All-Stars actually busting the move in the breakdown lane. Hallelujah. It's alright.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I'm from Manchester, England. It would have taken me a lot quicker to fly to Manchester, England than what it did from Nashville, an hour-and-a-half drive normally, to Manchester, Tennessee.
Never in my life. Never in my life.
You know, just even the fact that, I mean, we were able to sell 70,000 tickets on the internet with no advertising, you know. This is a very, you know, well-connected community that's growing larger and larger.
Get Bud, and then you have the directions, right?
Well, it is 5:30 in the morning. That would be Friday morning, dawn. I guess we're setting up our press tent over yonder. And that's where it's happening.
I was in my office right behind this stage, and it's all of a sudden you remember why you're here, and you know, you could feel all the energy from the fans. And I walked up on stage and I looked at this sea of people that were moving into the main stage area.
Now, like Audio Galaxy and stuff like that, I think it's vital. I think the one thing that is key though is once you've heard that band that you like, once you've heard Widespread or Carl Denson or Black Alicious or whoever it may be, you know, go out and support it.
So what do you guys think about the incorporation of DJs into a lot of this style of music?
I think it's dope. Music is universal language, you know. There's so much that DJs can do with records and stuff, you know. The DJ, to me, is almost, it's an instrument.
I'm Anne-Marie Jacquard, back with more Bonnorroo of 2002, and I have the very distinct pleasure of sitting here with Bob Weir and Phil Lesh. Hi, guys.
Hiya.
Hiya.
Hiya. You laid the groundwork for everything that has happened for Bonnorroo. I know that you're humble about it, but it is the truth, and Bill Graham brought the whole scene on, and you made it happen, and you made it work with the fans, and now it's turned into this insane cross-section of all these different styles of music. but you guys had the biggest touring base. When you stopped, your touring base went to different jam bands. What do you think about that when you're standing on stage looking out at it?
I think to be remembered is that this is our American musical heritage. This is improvisational music with its roots.
Jazz musicians have been doing it for 100 years.
Yeah, with its roots coming from different continents and stuff like that came together in a fusion in America, 100 and some years ago, and started to emerge as the jazz tradition, the blues tradition, and all that kind of stuff. We didn't do dick. We just played. Not working on new material, trying to remember what it is that we do.
Trying to remember all the songs we used to play together.
Having our share of senior moments.
Warren is sort of a vortex, and he can just sit in everywhere and fit in. And I'm really, really also very impressed by his latest project, The Deep End, and I was curious to know what you think about that, Phil. And
I think it was an honor to be invited to play on that with all those great bass players. But Warren is a real poet and a keen observer of human nature, aside from being a killer guitar player and singer. And the playing that he pulled out of some of these players, really, he's made them play outside themselves, and I think that's a great thing.
What are we doing, Uncle Warren? We just recorded a song with me and Matt and Liz Claypool and James Hetfield.
At the start of the band, we allowed people to get soundboard feeds and things like that from our live shows, and we used to play over 200 live shows a year. It seems to have allowed us the opportunity and our fans the opportunity to just spread our music without having to really go through regular commercial means.
I mean, you played around on that stage for a while, and then you ran over and came and jumped up with me, and it's not working.
It's not. I mean, and that's where it gets blurred. Are we working or are we playing? Like, I haven't figured that out for 10 years, really. Although it's work, like when you're making a record, a lot of hard work goes into the making of a record.
Always have to steal my kisses from you. Always have to steal my kisses from
you. We started playing at 5 a.m. The guys from Galactic showed up.
I started beating on pots and pans and Tupperware and all that kind of stuff, and they eventually bought me a drum.
At this morning set that we did, we were surrounded by people and on their level, so we literally had people 360 degrees around us.
You guys still up or what?
We couldn't tell whether it was just one row of people behind there or whether there was a whole mass.
It's a no-brainer to why you'd want to come to and be involved with a festival like Bonnorroo. Our hopes were just to get in front of a lot of new people because we're still flying a little under the radar, and even though we play all the time, I think that out of these 70,000 people, there's going to be a large amount that have never seen us before.
Really well put together, and they need less roads in, more traffic.
This entire festival has been conducted entirely via internet.
Has it? Yeah. Part of the outernet.
Part of the outernet.
Okay.
70,000 tickets were sold in 3 days.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really refreshing that people are here to hear music. That's the general thing.
Right.
They're here to hear music. Music with heart.
It's become sort of a pattern to have documentaries done at festivals.
You know, there's 3 days or a week to capture it all. And so we really wanted to get a team together. Larry and Arthur and the rest of the Upstream crew, you know, they worked on Woodstock, they worked on The Last Waltz, they worked with Neil Young, who's, you know, everyone's hero.
So next year, Neil Young, Bonnorroo, 2003.
We hope so. Neil, come, please.
Everything's gonna be alright.
I feel like music and art is kind of like a stream, and you just hop in.
Yeah, we've been waiting for this for a while, haven't we?
And if you're relaxed enough, you know, you feel what's necessary.
I want to hear who got their tickets early. Who got their tickets real early?
You know, you got to dodge a rock here and there, and you got to like go faster here and slower here.
Red Storm. Red Storm. You ready? Red Storm.
Our schedules, everybody has different schedule, everybody tours differently. There isn't anything going on like this anywhere else. And like I said before, it's just our hats are off, you know, to the people that made this happen.
Inside the shed. And a man I see a strange on the stage, leaning on a couch on my bed.
Explain to the audience what the sacred steel means.
Well, what it is, it's a style of pedal steel guitar or lap steel guitar that was played in the church that I come from. It's a tradition that goes all the way back to the 1930s, you know, of older guys playing lap steel and whatnot. You know, the churches couldn't afford organs. You know, a lot of the guys in the church, you know, they're not allowed to go out and, you know, share their music with people like this.
But that creates an opportunity too when something isn't seen and heard, which in other words, I don't think this would be happening with Oh Brother, or it wouldn't have happened like it did with Deliverance or with Foggy Mountain Breakdown or with the Beverly Hillbillies or, you know, Bonnie and Clyde. When these folk booms came out of it, if the music was well, you know, it was easy to find and easy to hear. So since we were offered the chance to play, see what would happen if we plugged in our instruments and we could play for these larger groups. What would happen? Would it work? You know, it's kind of just been an experiment these last 3 shows.
Yeah, very much.
It's been interesting because it started, I think it made these big venues feel very intimate, and then it forced us to kind of push the music out there, feel that bigger crowd and feel how to make the music work in that setting.
The things that got you in music weren't standing up on a stage in front of 60,000 people.
Right.
You know, they're sitting back in a room somewhere and kind of discovering things with a friend.
What about Mo at Bonnorroo?
We are the world.
We're more like the Bangles of the jam band scene.
But you're not the children?
Mo will rock Bonnorroo.
Boner Zoo. Here we are.
Questions for Trey, and then Trey has to go off and do a bunch of stuff, and then
We confirmed Trey and Gorf in the same day. It was ridiculous. We all went for buffet for lunch on that day. It was crazy.
And here we are at Bonnorroo. It's the same thing. People can't come together. People can camp for 3 nights and party down, and it's not, you know, this kind of whole vibe I've been reading about, the fact that live music is going down the tubes. It's actually not true out into the audience. But I'm trying to use every tool possible instead of just energy. You got energy, but with harmonic depth that also has a power of its own. With rhythmic depth, and trying to re-advance the language of music. My dream throughout my life is if I could add a tiny little thing to the stream of popular music, it would be to put a little bit of that back in. I would like to, if I can in any way, help move music back in that direction, and then primarily to create a live show that's just an explosion of joy.
Hey, I'm Phil Lesh, formerly of the Grateful Dead, and also of Phil Lesh and Friends. And you are watching Free Range, and Anne-Marie is lurking around here somewhere.
Ready?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Bela Fleck.
And Edgar Meyer.
We're here at Bonnorroo. Sex, drugs? No.
Bluegrass.
Yeah.
Mr. T, you're out there, the MC next year, the gig's yours, work with us, it would be huge.
We pity the fool that don't come to Bonnorroo.
This is Carl Denson. You're watching Free Range TV.